This section wasn't part of my initial retrospection, however, the implications it has for long-term sustainability of New World's world faction balance and player base cannot be overstressed. I mean AoE tags at the same time to lag the point isn't how the game was intended to be played. Doing this is essentially DDoSing the server since you're sending requests from multiple sources to prevent the opposing faction's requests from being fulfilled. There's also a hatchet invulnerability exploit people have been using to deny damage so that they can win wars. The patch just released, 103, supposedly addresses these exploits. However, these issues were identified before New World's release and crept back into the game, so we'll have to see. My 32 kill mage war video the other day was a lot longer than my typical video. In this one I'm doing a retrospect on the New World war system. Wars are a fun way to PvP with varying roles squads can play to impact them. Standout roles are great axe users. Gravity well as a tide turning frontline melee ability that synergizes well with AoE abilities. Muskets absolutely destroy siege weapons, making defending as well as attacking an easier task. Fire Staff and Ice Gauntlet users have incredible AoE that absolutely destroys clumped up players. Having dedicated siege is critical as well, since not a lot of people want to do it and it pumps the damage. Other weapons have a place as well. However, impacting the tide of battle is more difficult with them, and you usually will end up dedicated to attacking the backline with these more niche weapons. Since establishing proper comp distribution, let's talk about something else important. Communication. PvP that isn't one person lives and dies by this. Having a lead to shot call is critical. Calling rotations from the enemy if you're defending a point is important as well from non-shot callers. If you aren't seeing this in a war, it's going to be chaos. Voice in New World doesn't cut it. Half the time it's disabled or it can't detect your microphone. Someone better have set up a faction Discord and you're in it, or else there's going to be a lot of miscommunication. The final thing that will decide whether or not your faction can win wars is leadership. New World is very much a community-based MMO. Your faction needs to work together for coordinating territory influence, to declare war or keep the territory out of war with other factions. If the company in charge of the territory has an ego, or the company trying to attack the new territory, certain companies might have members left on standby even though they are in the same faction. Disconnects like this can lose the territory ground and players from being dissatisfied. When it comes to performance during the war, listen to callouts from your squad and don't overextend. Pay attention to how the enemy is rotating, and if it's being overlooked by the shot caller, step up and call it out. That's really just MMO basic. For some reason, people always forget and you have to remind them. Another important point is get your weapon mastery up. If it's low, you're not going to be dumping damage or taking damage as you should be. And obviously, have the proper armor. If you're an Ice Gauntlet or a Fire Staff user, you shouldn't be in light. You're going to get absolutely shredded if somebody from a more niche role comes up in the back line. They're just going to destroy you. Last thing, have proper stat distribution. A lot of people don't seem to have that, and it can really change the outcome of battles. The stat attribute checkpoints or whatever can give you some really insane bonuses. If you're trying to spread it between a bunch of different things, you're just going to end up limiting yourself. Mostly just focus on two, unless you're a tank, and then you might just all have it in Constitution. That wraps up this video. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, and if you want to see similar content, subscribe.